depending on your squad leader, you can get fucked up. I think some of the anxiety comes from that.
But one thing would be just get out and do it. Don't be afraid. They don't get accomplished because of being afraid. So I think if you try just a little bit, little by little, I think eventually you can accomplish that. 안녕하세요. 이름이 줄리스입니다. 25살이에요. Right now I'm a student. Before I was in the Marine Corps for about 4 years, and then after that I came to visit Korea, spend time with my wife, and then from there I became a student. I think obviously because of my wife and her family, and then also because I like the culture and the people here, so I just keep coming back. I got interested from a really young age. In the United States, Bruce Lee is like a huge thing. So since we were little kids, we always fight each other as friends. So growing up, it's like a normal thing in the United States. Five-Rounds, it was introduced to me by my wife. And ever since I came here, I love it here. Out of all the gyms that I've been to, this is one of the best. So originally it's because I guess Americans, we see the media a lot, we're kind of brainwashed. So I think my initial thought was to join the Marines and just kill for my country. But after being in there, your mindset kind of changes, and you see that it's just not right, to do those things. And I'd rather just help people out than to do harm. In the States, not a lot. Like I said, as a young kid, we do a lot of grappling, wrestling, just play fighting. But there's some people that do take up wrestling in school, and then other people do obviously things out of school. And then after the military is when I started actually training. So I'd say I probably did about a month of jiu-jitsu, maybe a month and a half, maybe a month of boxing in Korea, and then a month of Muay Thai in Korea. And then after that, here at Five-Rounds, I've probably done 3 months total. So we learn MCMAP, which is Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, but it's basically just kind of washed down martial arts. You learn a little bit of striking, a little bit of grappling, but it's not to the extent to where it would be as good as a jiu-jitsu white belt. So I don't think Marine Corps combatives are that great unless you're incorporating it with something else outside of the Marine Corps. I guess just the grappling. Here it's a little bit more skilled. Over there it's a little bit more brutal, so you kind of just grab someone and slam them as hard as you can. But it's a little bit similar. Final destination. I guess just be better than I was yesterday. And because I struggle a little bit with anxiety, I think my main goal is to try and get out of that pocket and try to be more open and less anxious about things. So I think the anxiety probably comes a little bit from the military. I guess if you do something wrong, you kind of get bitched at by your higher ups, and then depending on your squad leader, you can get fucked up, hit or something like that. I guess a lot of the times during training, you always have to be paying attention while you're sleeping too. You're sleeping, but you can hear everything that's going on. So as soon as you hear a shot, during practice or whatever, you're up and you have to do QRF. So you're always ready. So I think some of the anxiety comes from that. So it's a little bit hard for me to come out of that shell, but we're starting to kind of work our way out of that. I think a little bit. Like I said, we're still working on that. It's just a little bit of a mental game with myself. But I think eventually, if we keep doing this, we'll kind of break that shell and then become who I was at one point. MMA. I like everything separately because everything together seems a little bit harder. I think my favorite part is probably grappling just by itself, but when it comes together, it's a little bit harder. So I think I like grappling by itself, but with MMA all together, I'd probably say maybe a little bit of striking, Muay Thai. I'm not too good at it, but we're getting there. Yeah, I'm gonna try to, because I guess when I'm in the US, I still have that anxiety, and I don't really have many people around me to kind of help me out with that. It's a little bit harder for me to go to the gym and kind of do it on my own because I don't have my wife with me, you know. So I think it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna try.
Okay, I guess one thing would be just get out and do it. Don't be afraid. I think probably the hardest part is going to the gym, and the easiest part is probably as soon as you throw that first punch, it's like clockwork. So it gets easier because I think a lot of our goals, they don't get accomplished because of being afraid. So I think if you try just a little bit, little by little, I think eventually you can accomplish that. I don't think I have a favorite, like different fighter and different fighting styles. John Jones, I guess right now, he's American and he's just pretty brutal. So I'd say right now, John Jones is probably on the top of the list.
I think she means everything. I think some of this, like the MMA thing, it's about getting rid of the anxiety, but it's also being able to defend my wife and my family. Because I think a lot of the things that happen around the world, it's pretty bad right now. And some things in the US, so I want to be able to defend her if anything ever happens. I don't know. Like and subscribe. 조대구알. 조대구알.